Okay, so now let's talk deeper about the domestic stock market. And we have with us here Abiodun Adedotun, equity trader with First Securities Brokers, to give us the details about the latest developments as well as other issues within the market. Thank you for joining us, Abiodun.
You're welcome, Victor. Good to be here again.
Yeah, so welcome back from that long Easter break, and it's time to make some money and get back to work. So now let's start first. I want to ask you, we've seen that oil prices at some point, it had dropped to about 60, 64, 65, but then it has climbed up to about $70 per barrel. That's for the Brent, the benchmark crude, and that's one of Nigeria's mainstay in terms of revenue generation. So far, how has this impacted on the sectors, the oil and gas sector of the NGX? How are investment sentiments in there?
Yeah, of course. Nigeria's GDP economy is measured based on what the oil is doing, because it's a major source of revenue for the government. And there's been a lot of apprehension, especially for the FPIs, foreign portfolio investors, about these oil levels and how sustainable it is, for Nigeria to continue to meet its FX obligation. Of course, you know that the CBN is making frantic efforts in trying to stabilize the FX regime, and we can see the impact on the external reserves. So only time will tell how long it's going to be, as long as the external reserve continues to remain pressured, with CBN's course of action of defending the local currency with the US.
Okay, so now, before now, we saw that the market has been continuously going down at some point, even the benchmark all share index, which is the indicator of stock market performance. So how has the market capitalization level, how has it changed, within the last couple of weeks? And is there any reason to be fearful on the side of investors?
And not so much to be fearful, the thing there is that we still have few participation of oil, foreign investors here and there. And of course, we know the reasons why the Nigerian market fell, not just the Nigerian market. Global markets have been in more of a tumultuous state because of the tariff hike by President Donald Trump of the US. The impact of this, of course, it's going to affect businesses, not just in America, not just in Europe. Of course, Nigeria, some of these are going to, it means some businesses will struggle, to be able to access the US market. So, but you don't expect it to be so much, sustained. I think if the tariffs don't return after the 90-day ultimatum, we'll fare well, because the locals have been dominating the Nigerian market space for a while. And I think it's going to continue to remain like that in the near future.
Okay, so now, with that being said, which of the sectors, I don't want to be stock specific, which of the sectors would you consider as being a safe haven? Because right now, in the fixed income market, they say, yes, there's a flight to safety by investors. But for the stock market, which of the sectors would you consider as a safe haven sector for most of the stocks for investors?
Safe haven might just be relative, because what we are seeing right now, it's most likely going to be temporal. If FX level remains around where it is or gets a little bit better, you tend to look at reversals in some consumer goods that are taking a bit of a hit. We have the Nigerian breweries looking like they are coming out of the water. You have Nestle that went underwater last year as well. We had MTN that suffered so much, if things stabilizes, these stocks and these companies are likely to do a lot better.
Okay, so now let's have a final question with you. So now that the market has opened, and that last track I had was in the green, so give us the current trading levels of the market and what you expect for the close of Tuesday's trading session.
The market is currently trading at 43 basis points higher, and of course it's due to the banks recovering. bank, especially the tier ones, they announced, and there were a bit of markdown for dividend just before the holiday commenced. So it's more like, okay, investors are beginning to take, okay, the dividend is gone. Everyone is expecting what Q1 numbers is going to look like. And I think the market is really a little bit upbeat. More importantly, Nigerian breweries have announced its results, and of course, it's gotten back into profitability. Investors are excited to hear about this because we know 2024 was not so much of a good year because of what happened in FX in Nigeria. So there's so much excitement going on around the stock right now. And there might be a read across, to other companies that suffer the same fate.
And I remember that once upon a time, Nigerian Breweries was the most capitalized stock on the NGX. That was over almost about a decade ago, if not more. But we keep eyes on that stock as well as some other stocks on the NGX. Thank you so much for your time on the show.
You're welcome.